Funkification, ladies and gentlemen, here at Sweetwater in beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm Greg Koch, rhymes with chalk, here on behalf of our Sweetwater and Fender friends to talk to you a little bit about these new American Deluxe instruments. They are deluxe. And these particular instruments are a little step up above from the American standard instruments in the fact that they have a bunch of different things on them that make more of your professional musician who wants to be, as versatile as he possibly can, he or she, I should say, in a variety of situations. This guitar kind of covers every base. Now, first of all, I should say, the biggest thing about this guitar that is different from, or one of the biggest things that's different from this to the older American Deluxe instruments, is now the third generation of the pickups of the noiseless Persuasion. Now, it could be argued that these are actually the fourth generation if you consider the American Strat Plus pickups back in the 80s that they had in the early 90s, which were an effort to diminish the 60-cycle hum that us single-coil pickup users have to battle with every now and again. But we battle with it because we love the sound of single coils. But sometimes you're in a situation, in a session, or in a gig situation where, you're set up next to a popcorn machine, or where every time the bartender runs the dishwasher, the signal starts coming through your guitar, and there's no escape. So sometimes having an instrument that has some kind of a noiseless pickup in it is the way to roll. Now, there's plenty of people like, dude, I have to have single coils. These people are usually unemployed because you usually have to have one ringer guitar that's impervious to noise disturbances. And for years, an American Deluxe has been my go-to guitar if I'm in a situation where I need to buck the noise, if you know what I'm saying. And so initially what they had, as I said, well, there was the lace sensor pickups back in the late 80s, early 90s. And then around 1998, they came out with the American Deluxe guitars with the first generation of noiseless pickups. Those pickups are still available in a bunch of different guitars, I think, a couple down in Mexico, as I like to say, but also on the Clapton Stratocaster and on the Jeff Beck Strat. You can still get your noiseless pickups. They sound magnificent. But when they gave the guitar a little facelift, and they added Bill Lawrence designed pickups called S-1, which was samarium cobalt. I don't know where this samarium came from. It's like they culled it deep under the earth of ancient Mesopotamia and said, oh my God, I found the elixir to make noiseless pickups here in the Mideast. That didn't happen. Anyway, so those are great sounding pickups as well, and that was the first time they added the S-1 switch, which is a way on the volume control that you press this button and it engages some different sounds that you don't usually find on a regular 5-way position toggle switch Stratocaster, right? And basically that particular thing in the past added some different in-series combinations as opposed to in parallel, which is a different sound altogether. It gives you a little bit more meat than when you run two pickups in parallel. It's a little bit more of a glassy, regular single coil sound. You run them in series, it's almost like a P90, for lack of a better term. I wouldn't get in trouble by saying P90, but you know what I mean. A little bit more sinuous. So now what they have done is this new version of the American Deluxe has done a couple different things. First of all, it's got these new now Generation 3, they say N3 noiseless pickups on it. They sound great. They sound like single coil. Ooh, did you hear that? Something's going on. Oh, it's this plastic on this pickup. We'll just kind of take that plastic off. Ladies and gentlemen, the plastic on the pickup. Come on, y'all. Anyways, you get the idea. It sounds like a Strat. It's dead quiet, which is a good thing. But here's the fun part. These pickups sound great. As I said, next generation noiseless pickup. I believe some kind of permutation of Alnico and finger nougat that they use to make this secret alloy that they put in these pickups. I don't know if you can quote me on that, but whatever, I said it. So if we engage our S-1 switch, which is on the volume control here, it makes the 5-way toggle switch on this guitar completely different. And this is actually stuff I've done to my Strats for years because I'd like to have a bunch of different combinations. In addition to the glorious tones that are already on a Strat with a 5-way switch, now you can get things like this. If I put the S-1 switch on and have it in the number 5 position, which is usually the neck pickup, now it becomes a combination of all the pickups kind of in series and out of phase. So you get this kind of, and if you're an Albert Collins fan, or if you're an Albert King fan. Woo! That's the Albert King sound right there. Anyway, you get the idea. That's that sound, that kind of weird duck walk thing, as people call it. It's cool for like weird, funky rhythms. You get the idea. Go on the funk patrol and do some kind of. Sorry. Anyway, now the next position down, it's the back and front pickup combination. And on a Strat, instead of sounding more like a Tele, it actually sounds more like a Gretsch. It's got a little bit more of a fuller tone to it. You get the idea. It's so you can get your rockabilly thing on, or just have that kind of a Tele-ish tone. All that kind of stuff. A very, very cool and usable tone, if I may be so bold. Now, the next position down, which is the middle position, which is normally the middle pickup all by itself, now it becomes these two pickups, the neck pickup and the middle pickup, on in series instead of in parallel. And as I said earlier, that gives you a little bit more beef, a little bit more of a nasally type of a tone, which is a good thing if you want a little bit more high-end rolled off. It almost sounds kind of like the Clapton preamp. If you ever messed around with the Eric Clapton Stratocaster, there's a mid-boost on there. When you turn it on, it gives you this that kind of mother tone thing. You get the idea. It adds a little bit of girth. So that's nice to have, especially if you like doing slide, or you want to do some kind of woman tone thing that you want to do your, Creamy Eric Clapton thing, or your intro to American Woman, or whatever the case may be. You can have that sound right on the guitar. Now, a sound that's very similar to that, but a little bit brighter, would be to take these two pickups, the bridge pickup and the middle pickup, in series, and that's the next position down. Now, the last pickup selection is all three pickups on, and that's another thing I like to have on the guitars. It's a very good little, nice little funky tone. You get the idea. Kind of a cool little funky tone. That just sounds a little bit different. So you've got 5 extra tones in addition to your 5-way toggle switch. So you get 10 sounds right off the bat. Pow! Your brain is exploding with the power of versatility. All right, some other little things, ergonomically speaking, that makes this guitar scrumdiddlyicious, is that it's got a compound radius. So it's a different radius down here than it is up here, which is good because sometimes when you're up here and you're doing your schweedly-schwoidling, you want a little flatter radius than down here when you're doing your kumbaya chords. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't, but you'll know what I mean when you grab this neck and you go, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, the other thing, it has these locking Schaller tuners on here. This is a very cool thing, ladies and gentlemen, because you like to change strings fast. It works for that. A lot of times, if you're, for years I brought one guitar to gigs, and I always like a floating tremolo so I can get that, thing with my palm, and be able to warble, all that kind of stuff. So if you have the bridge floating a little bit, if you bust a string and it messes with the string pressure, what happens is that the string, or the guitar goes into some kind of pan-Egyptian tuning. And unless you're into that kind of thing, it's something that when playing Western music can be a little bit of a, problem. So that's usually when you look over at your bass player and you say, help me out there, pal. So while you're quickly changing his string, he does his epic bass solo of doom. So you want to change that string as quickly as possible before the place completely empties out. You know what I'm saying? So what you do is you put that new string on, and what you do is you unwind this little screw-a-bob, and again, that's a technical term on the back of this machine head. You unscrew that, and what happens is a little pull goes like this out of there. And so you can take the string subterfuge out of there, the broken string, put the new string on. You don't have to worry about, I got to wrap it around 3 times. You don't have to worry about that. Put the string through, pull it all the way through taut, and then screw that thing back in. It locks the string into position. You tune it up, yank on it a couple times, tune it up again. Next thing you know, bass solo's over, and you're rocking post-haste. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are your American Deluxe Series guitars, new for the class of '10 of Fender musical instruments. On behalf of all the people here at Sweetwater, later.